So here we will see the regulation of growth hormone. Growth hormone secretion can be regulated by hypothalamic control and via the negative feedback mechanism from growth hormone or growth hormone releasing hormone itself. The negative feedback control mechanism is important because it maintains the constant level of growth hormone. So now come first to the hypothalamic control of release of growth hormone from anterior pituitary gland. So hypothalamus can be stimulated with the help of exercise, sleep, hypoglycemia or fasting or physical stress like pain, trauma, surgery, inflammation, and all these stimuli give positive signal to the hypothalamus to secrete its growth hormone releasing hormone. This hormone is made up of 44 amino acids and it is a peptide hormone. So it acts on the acidophilic cells of anterior pituitary via the surface receptors and act via the second messenger pathway, that is guanylate cyclase pathway. So with the help of cyclic GMP, it causes production of growth hormone inside the cell via gene expression mechanism, and this growth hormone finally comes out of the acidophilic cell with the help of this growth hormone releasing hormone by entering of calcium plus 2 inside the cell. So growth hormone released finally from the acidophilic cell and comes into the blood circulation. Now the second hormone that controls the growth hormone release via inhibiting the growth hormone release, that is the growth hormone releasing inhibitory hormone. So it is called as somatostatin. It is again a peptide hormone and made up of 14 amino acids, but it acts on the acidophilic cells in a non-complementary to growth hormone releasing hormone on its receptor. So it decreases the sensitivity of growth hormone releasing hormone to its receptor on anterior pituitary cells. So that's why growth hormone releasing hormone cannot work properly to release the growth hormone. So in this way, this growth hormone releasing hormone inhibits the secretion of growth hormone. It also causes decrease in concentration of cyclic AMP and calcium plus 2 inside the cell. So again, it decreases the release of growth hormone. So via these two hormones, hypothalamus can induce the release of growth hormone or can inhibit the release of growth hormone. Now come to the second mechanism that is very important to maintain the constant level of growth hormone in the blood. So that is called as negative feedback mechanism. So the growth hormone that is released from the anterior pituitary gland act on the target cell like liver cells and other target tissue like skeletal tissues, and these liver cells secrete the insulin-like growth factor or somatomedin. Here the somatomedin act via the negative feedback mechanism to control the release of growth hormone. So somatomedin act via the two pathways. One is it can act directly on anterior pituitary gland to inhibit the release of growth hormone, or it can act indirectly on the hypothalamus to stimulate the GRIH and inhibit anterior pituitary gland to release the growth hormone. So via these two negative feedback mechanisms, somatomedin controls the release of growth hormone. The second negative feedback mechanism occurs via the growth hormone itself. The growth hormone acts on hypothalamus to stimulate the GRIH, and in turn this somatostatin inhibits the anterior pituitary to release the growth hormone. And the third negative feedback mechanism attains by growth hormone releasing hormone itself. It acts directly on the hypothalamus via release from tiny sites of pituitary gland to the cerebrospinal fluid and comes back to the hypothalamus. So it acts directly on the hypothalamus to inhibit its release, and it is called as ultra short loop to control the release of growth hormone. Now come to the next slide. So as we discussed earlier, lots of stimuli can stimulate the hypothalamus to release the growth hormone, and finally growth hormone from the anterior pituitary act on the target tissue either directly or either indirectly via the liver to generate somatomedins. We will discuss later about the somatomedins. Or growth hormone act on the lipid metabolism also. So see here, the substrate of growth hormone can control the level of growth hormone in the blood. So first suppose if there is a low blood glucose level in the plasma, so there is a hypoglycemia in the blood. So this stimuli can stimulate the hypothalamus to release growth hormone releasing hormone. Finally, this growth hormone releasing hormone comes to the anterior pituitary gland via the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system and stimulate the acidophilic cell to release human growth hormone. And human growth hormone, with the help of insulin-like growth factor from the liver, enhances the breakdown of glycogen inside the liver into glucose. So this glucose enters into the blood more rapidly and increases the blood glucose level to the normal, about 90 mg per deciliter. Suppose if this blood glucose level continue to increase, so it causes hyperglycemia. Again, this hyperglycemia can inhibit the release of growth hormone releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. Now come to the second condition. If there is a high blood glucose level in the plasma or hyperglycemia, it stimulates the release of growth hormone inhibiting hormone, not the growth hormone releasing hormone. So this hormone again comes back to the anterior pituitary, non-competitively inhibit the growth hormone releasing hormone on the acidophilic cells receptors. So inhibit release of human growth hormone. So decreases the breakdown of glycogen into the glucose. So decrease entry of glucose in the blood. So decreases blood glucose level again to the normal level, that is 90 mg per deciliter. Suppose if the blood glucose level continue to decrease, so it develops hypoglycemia, and in turn this hypoglycemia will inhibit the release of GHIH. So see how substrate of growth hormone can control the growth hormone release. Thank you.